Breaking news. The Glazers have sold Manchester United. Not the whole thing, just 25%. Sheikh Jassim had offered to come and buy the whole club and clear all the debt, lakini Glazer wakasema hapa kuna pesa, hatuwezi uza hii club hivyo, hii club haiwezi enda tu hivyo. So wamesema wanauza tu 25%. This is the official club statement from Man United. Manchester United PLC reaches agreement for Sir Jim Ratcliffe, chairman of Ineos, to acquire up to 25% shareholding in the company. Ineos kama mjui is a petrochemical company. Zile mavitu mlikuwa unafanya kwa lab mkiwa high school, nitric acid, citric acid, litmus paper, kuangalia pH balance, nini hizo vitu zote. That's what that company makes. The acquisition of 25% of the Class B shares held by the Glazer family offers to acquire up to 25% of all Class A shares. So United is made up of Class A and Class B shares. Class B shares have up to 10 times more voting rates than Class A shares. So if you have 10% of Class B, is better than having 50% of Class A, basically. But for them to actually sell 25% of the Class B shares means they are actually letting Sir Jim have a lot of power, and that's also part of the deal. We'll just get to that shortly. Glazers family and Class A shareholders will receive the same price of £33 per share. Then Sir Jim has said he's going to invest a further £300 million of his own money into the club. Hiyo do itakwenda kwa vitu kama stadium renovation na vitu kama hizo. And then Ineos delegated responsibility for management of football operations. So all football operations will be under Sir Jim, but still many of the voting rights still the Glazers family hold. So just to break down the deal from The Athletic, again, this is happening in real time. We're reacting. They have just announced it today. First of all, how do you announce such a big thing on Christmas Eve? Like, that does not make sense to me. The timing of it is just ill-timed, kabisa. Anyway, from The Athletic, the deal will see Ratcliffe's Ineos take control of the football operations at United. This will include all aspects of the men's and women's football operations and academies. Key, alongside 2 seats on the Manchester United PLC board and the Manchester United Football Club boards. So the CEO of Ineos, Jean-Claude Blanc, and Sir David Brailsford will join the United board. So those are part of the deal. Those are some of the things that the Glazers had to give up to do this. So in return, Ratcliffe is also going to provide $300 million, that's £245 million of his own personal wealth for future investment. So this money again is not into buying players and stuff. At the end of the day, the team is still subject to things like FFP, and you can only lose, I think, £105 million. You can only go on a loss of £105 million over 3 years. So they still can't go crazy in terms of buying players and stuff. But when it comes to renovating the club, when it comes to the stadium, all of you have seen the videos of Old Trafford leaking. All of those things are some of the things that he's going to look to make better. And he says he's a lifelong supporter of the club. We will believe that. The man is 71 years old. Yeah, anaanza kusupport football kwa alikuwa na social media na Wikipedia. So anaanza alikuwa na support Man City na tujui, but anyway, amesema ni lifelong fan. And yeah, of course he's excited and he wants to unlock a new time for this club. The thing that is key, and I mentioned earlier, is that he's not going to clear the debt. So United still have their 1.03 billion debt that they still have accrued over years. That is not going to be cleared. That was one reason why the what's his name, Sheikh Jassim, was not willing to buy the club for £5 billion and then still clear debt of £1 billion. That is like we must spend £6 billion, you know. But then they wanted to spend 4 and maybe clear 1.0 or something. I'm just spitballing numbers. At the end of the day, they didn't want to give up 6 billion as opposed to 5 billion. So what happens from now on? The key thing here is that hakuna obligation to sell. The Glazers have no obligation to sell the club, which means they're still majority owners of the club. So the Glazers still have majority ownership of this club. It is just that now you brought someone else to do footballing responsibilities. And if all goes well, it will even be harder. If United win the Premier League this year, for example, the Glazers now are like, oh, our team is doing well. There's no need to sell. We're making money, revenues coming in. So well played by the Glazers. But for United fans, I really feel for you because you went from the hopes of getting that Arab money to just selling 25% of the club, and now the Glazers, it's like they are fully in. They've committed to this in a way, right? Because now they've delegated. They've just said they've delegated, but the delegation came with 25% of the ownership going to someone else, right? So someone else is going to do all the footballing things. And of course, if the footballing things are doing well, the club does well, the club makes more revenue, and the Glazers make more revenue. So, yeah, those are just some of the things that have happened. So that's the key thing. The key thing is that Glazers have no obligation to sell, and Ratcliffe is not going to clear any of that debt. So that debt is still there. And then, of course, Sir Jim believes he can do a better job of running the club, so that's why he was interested in doing this. The other key thing about this deal is that Ineos also owns Nice. So what happens? Do they sell Nice? Because if Nice make the Champions League or Europa League, and United make Europa League or Champions League, one of the clubs has to drop out. Both of them, according to UEFA rules, you can't play in the same tournament. And the same is going to happen with Man City and Girona, because Girona's owners also own Girona, and Girona, top of they're second in La Liga, they are more than likely going to make at least the Europa League. So what happens in that case, So those are some of the things that you have to think about later on. But the way United is playing, they should not even be worrying about that, because at this moment in December, they're not qualifying for Europe. Things might change between now and May. And then obviously the other thing that was key is that Richard Arnold was expected to leave his role once the deal goes through. And on November 15th, United confirmed that the guy is leaving. So if you guys remember, that was the job that Ed Woodward had, and he had to go after the failing of the Super League. Speaking of the Super League, when this new announcement was made 2 days ago, was it 3 days ago, the first team to respond was United. And it's like they knew this was coming, and they're going to announce this during Christmas, just before Christmas. So it's also PR on their end, like just making sure that let's try and do as much right possible, so that when we announce this deal, we announce it on Christmas Eve in the evening, when everyone is drunk and no one cares about football that much, because even Chelsea was playing and they lost. Yeah, man. So yeah, that's the thing with United. I think as we learn more about the details, we'll share. Quick reaction is that for me, this means the Glazers are not going to sell the club. It just means they've delegated because they want better decisions to be made so that they can make more money. That is my initial reaction. There could be other things that come from this, but yeah, that's what we're seeing right now. Obviously, getting Sheikh Jassim on would have been way better, because they'd have full control of the club and done things their own way. But yeah, man, once you start seeing that money come through, because the Glazers all the profits have just been going to their pockets, not back to the club. So I get it. I get why the fans are frustrated, and just from someone who is so passionate about sports and the business of sports, like seeing a club of that stature, something that has grown to become so big, being run like this, is actually, banter aside, it's actually quite sad. Like sport is like the epitome of, like, it's just, I don't even know what I'm saying. All I'm saying is it's just sad. It's just sad to see a big team like this being run like this. But the fact that it's United fans suffering, it's also sad, because they put their life and some people's well-being hinged on how well United does over the weekend. So for you to just constantly put a team under, as this is an Arsenal fan who has suffered for 20 years. I last saw my team lift the Premier League in 2004, and I've been suffering since. There have been a few FA Cups here and there, 3 of them to be specific, but still not the same, guys. Actually, 4 of them. 5 of them from 2005. Yeah, they've been 5 FA Cups since we last won the league. But yeah, man, Glazers, well played. United fans, I'm sorry. Hopefully a lot more good comes from this than bad. Peace. Merry Christmas, by the way, guys. And thanks for always hanging out with us, even when it's Christmas. Now, I'm going to enjoy time with your family. So please enjoy time with your family, but also watch Box to Box. Peace. See ya.